So this is Dennis with Velvet Addiction, here with Lady O, Power 105.1, current radio personality on with Ed Lover in the morning. And let's just find out a little bit more about you. I know you're relatively new. I don't know if you can still be considered new.
2 years.
Because, you're not really new. But, a lot of people really don't know too much about you. Everybody knows it.
Right.
So let's find out a little bit about you. And I know you started off in D.C., so tell me about growing up in D.C. radio market, and, kind of what led you here.
Growing up in D.C., we grew up listening to Donnie Simpson, who a lot of you might remember from BET, Video Soul days. And that's just a voice I've always remember hearing since I was 4. No lie. Like, been hearing this man's voice since I was 4 years old. And I was like, wow, so this man just gets paid to play songs all day? Like, that's really cool. And I just got more and more interested in it. And my brother actually had a friend who used to intern for Wendy Williams. And he used to come over and talk about his experiences. And I was like, I want to do this. And I guess you could say the rest is history. I went to school, majored in this. And I actually ended up working for both Donnie and Wendy. Yep. And the funny thing is, when I worked with Wendy, I didn't know that Wendy was this huge thing in New York. She worked in D.C. for a little while. I worked with Wendy in Philly. And I'd heard of her name like once or twice, but I didn't know the history that came with that. So when I would tell people, like, I'm Wendy Williams' producer, I was so excited. People would look at me like I had the plague. Wendy had a crazy work ethic. Like, Wendy never took a sick day. When she was pregnant with her son, there were some complications, which she's always been really honest on the air and talked about. And I think most women would have just, it's your legal right. You could have taken short-term disability, long-term disability. Wendy allowed the radio station to put a system into her house where she could just stay home and do the show from home. And unfortunately, I have that bad habit now. I never take sick days or vacation days.
Always looking over your shoulder?
Yeah, because, as a woman, it is a lot harder. But I think now I'm better. I'm a lot better about it because I've realized that my health comes first and you do need that downtime to just re-energize yourself. But, it did teach me not to be lazy. It taught me not to be lazy. It taught me to really appreciate this. Like, this is serious. Like, because radio is like this. Like, just like fashion, just like with music. In Today, Out Tomorrow, it's like that with radio people, too. In Today, Out Tomorrow, like, who's the next hot chick? Who's the next hot guy? You gotta stay on your game.
And people don't last very long. If I recall, it's been a few kind of female-on-female blow-ups in New York. I won't get into specifics.
Yeah.
But you know the drama that comes along with
as women, I hate to say this, and so many of you women are going to be so mad at me, but it's true. As women, just by nature, we're just a little bit more emotional. And, we are a little bit more sensitive. And I have learned to let a lot of things just roll off my back. I've heard a lot of sexist remarks. I've heard a lot of racist remarks. But, that's how the guys keep going. Like, the guys don't let that get to them. The guys don't let that break their spirit. I'm mad inside, definitely, but I allow that to fuel my passion to be like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that I can do this. I'm going to show you I can do this without sleeping my way to the top, without, cheapening myself. So
do females take shots at you, other DJs, and you get wind of it? What's the
It hasn't happened to me. Because here's the crazy part about my career. I've been doing radio for 12 years. I only started doing On Air with Ed. So I've always been behind the scenes. I've been a music director. I've been a marketing director. I came here to be a morning show producer, which are all behind the scene important jobs. It was just through the friendship that Ed and I developed, we used to go watch football at his house every Sunday. It would be like my fiance, his girlfriend, gang of friends, and just, people always say I'm generally silly. I'm sarcastic, I'm silly, I'm funny. And Ed was like, that's what I want on the air. That's the kind of girl I'm looking for. I'm like a girl's guy.
Let's talk about the radio history and the progression on air, because you mentioned marketing. You mentioned program director.
No, music director.
Music director. So what are those roles and what do they entail, and how does that get you to where you are? Because I know that a lot of our viewers and listeners are probably wondering, okay, well, if she can do it, I could probably do it. But it's not
honestly,
that easy.
It's a lot of work, but you can. My progression was I went to college. I majored in this. The most important thing you can do, if this business or any other business is what you want to do, is get that internship. That internship is like your 3-month interview into the job of your dreams. So I did. I had an internship at a radio station back in D.C. where Donnie Simpson worked. And I did anything I was asked to do without, doing anything illegal. But, I worked part-time. I was only supposed to be there like 4 hours a day. I would be there like 9-8 hours a day just waiting for somebody to ask me to do something. Whether it was get coffee or answer the phones or go through mail. I didn't care. I just wanted to know everything about the position. So started there part-time. Became a programming assistant for Helen Little, who you'll meet shortly. I was her assistant. She was a great teacher and mentor, one of my best friends. She taught me everything because she said, as a woman, you have to know how to do everything. She promoted me to being Wendy's morning show producer, and I remember thinking, eek, it's to do. What do you do? I was like hyperventilating. Why do you want me to do this job? Like, I think I must have been like 24, 25. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's Wendy. And she was like, you'll figure it out. You know, of course, she helped me along the way, gave me books to read. And that job, when everybody saw that I was working with Wendy, allowed me to go back home and be a music director, which was my biggest dream in the whole world, was to be a music director in Washington, D.C. Couldn't tell me nothing. Like, that is to me what New York is to everybody else.
PGC, right?
PGC. Right. One of the top stations in the country. Like, oh, gosh. So I did that for 2 years. And what that entails is that's who picks the music. I hate to tell you, there's no such thing as Santa Claus, and there's no such thing as air personality playing their own songs. Never happens. That's the music director's job, and it was my job to just listen to tons and tons and tons of music every day, which I didn't care. Loved it. And to select what went into rotation and to schedule that for it to be played all day, every day.
If you hear a song that you really like from an artist that may not have the financial backing that a major would have,
I was in a position to play it.
Would you play it, though?
I did.
You did?
See,
okay.
The advantage, there was a couple of advantages. Number one, yeah, there are a lot of illegal stuff that happens, but that's not how I was taught. And it was funny because I just talked to somebody the other day who pretty much told me I was stupid for always being the honest one. I was probably the most broke music director on the planet. I had one of the most coveted jobs in the country to be a music director at PGC and was living home with my mama.
You seem to be not necessarily the antithesis of what a hip-hop on-air personality is, but I know that you listen to pop music.
Yeah.
I know that, you mentioned Hello Kitty, so you're not a real, like...
Not a street chick?
I was going to say hood, but yeah, you're not real street. You're more suburban.
I am. I can't even lie. That's how my family's from the Caribbean. My family's from Trinidad. So I remember growing up, we were never allowed to use slang. We were barely allowed to go to the hood. I remember my brother used to get in so much trouble for sneaking on the bus to go to DC, the hood, up in the hood. So that was really important to my mother, that we always, carry ourselves respectfully, speak intelligently, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm a suburban chick. Bougie, suburban.
So what's in your iPod right now? What do you listen to when you leave?
My iPod is everything. My iPod has Beanie Siegel to George Michael's greatest hits.
I see that you got some bling, so there is some hip hop in you.
There's some hip hop in me. Yeah, but see, I think bling is just the girl in me. I think hip hop. I think bling became hip hop for guys, but what girl doesn't love diamonds? Please, yeah.
So what's next? If you had to kind of map out your next 3 or 4 years, how do you see it playing out, and where do you see yourself?
People laugh at me when I say this. I never saw this. So I don't even know. Like, once I became music director, I thought it was over. I was just like, woo, I've come to the promised land. In a million years, you couldn't tell me I was coming to New York City. Like, people die to come here. Like, I just thought it was just such an unattainable goal that it was just never on my map. I mean, I definitely one day want to get married and have kids. And as much as I love the business, I would like to get away from it just because I've given so much of myself to the business. I can't tell you how many weddings I've missed that I was supposed to be the bridesmaid and got kicked out. I missed fittings. How many friends I've lost in this business because I didn't call you back. Like, this business, it really consumed me. But I liked it. Like, it was like my second boyfriend. But, I did give up a lot of family time, a lot of holidays. So I kind of see myself getting away from it. I mean, I'll always love music, but I think it's time for me to kind of just take a backseat because I do have a fiance in the business, and I think it's time for him to be the driver of the car. Okay. I think I'll sit in the backseat with the kids in the car seat.
Now, how is he taking it? That work schedule. I mean, it's got to be hard on him.
We make time. I mean, our schedules are so crazy. Like, literally, sometimes we are passing. Like, I'll come through the door, he's walking out the door. I mean, both of us. He's on the record side. I'm on the radio side, and he used to be in radio. So he understands, and if there's anything, a lot of times he pushes me harder. He'll either push me to go to bed, like, come on, you have to go to bed now, like a child. Or he'll be like, you know what, you need to suck it up because you've got to go to this party. You have to go to this event. This is important for work. And even sometimes I've gone right through from a party to here. The night I met you, actually. Came straight here. But, like, he's actually come here to work with me before, bought me coffee, whatever I needed to keep me up, stayed up here with me, so. Any
initiatives you're working on? Any projects? Any philanthropic initiatives?
I am the only person in radio who doesn't have a side hustle. I'm really not. I mean, there's things, like, I'm definitely interested in. Like, I'm definitely interested in doing anything I can for HIV and AIDS awareness. Like, I'm in a good position that anything that I'm interested in, I can kind of funnel through the show. Mm-hmm. So I might not be able to physically get out and go to a marathon or go to a Boys and Girls Club and speak. But what I do is I use this airwaves as my philanthropy to bring awareness to topics.